Okay, everybody, we're back with a brand new Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday, talking about why dieting stops working and what to do instead. Because truthfully, if you've ever tried to lose weight before, you know that eventually you hit a plateau. So it's what you do when you hit the plateau that enables you to lose that last 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or maybe even it's just dialing in the last 5. And the last couple of podcasts on these Wednesday shows, I've been talking about that. Of course, all those shows are at stephencabral.com/podcast. Feel free to use the search box. You'll be able to go through all the different shows. Today, I want to share with you, though, why dieting stops working so that you already know ahead of time and you won't be as frustrated. Because if you know why it happens, then you're able to turn the dials to get to work again. So let's dive right into it. If you've ever felt like, everything was working with your dieting, with your movement, your exercise, whatever it might be, and then it suddenly stopped, well, you are not alone. So many of our clients have dealt with this in their life. And luckily, again, if you already know why it's happening, you won't be as frustrated and you'll be able to make the left or right turn that you need to in order to keep those results coming. So the biggest thing to understand is this, is that your body is not broken. It actually just becomes more efficient over time. And it has to do that as a survival-based mechanism. So dieting doesn't stop working because you no longer have the discipline or your body, is simply failing at it. No, your body's adapting. Like that's the biggest thing that I want people to know. If you put in fewer calories, meaning like you're eating less, think of that as energy. All right. So you are eating less. Your body let's just say you went from 2,000 calories a day to 1,500 calories a day. This is how your body sees it. It sees it as I have 500 energy joules or 500 energy units less than I have to. Another way to look at it is I have 25% less energy for the day. You just took away 25% of my energy. That's what calories are, right? That's literally what food is. It is fuel. We look at food in our society as pleasure, right? It's tantalizing on the tongue. But our bodies look at it as fuel. So if you take away 25% of your fuel, like many people do, right? Because that's what it's told, to take 500 calories away. And I'm not disagreeing with that, right? But if you take the calories away, your body says, all right, less energy is coming in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put less energy out, right? Because you can't perform more energy output for a long period of time if the energy is not coming in. That leads to catabolism. You will burn through muscle, not just body fat. It will affect your organs. It can affect your hair. It can affect your skin. So anything that's a protein, essentially, it can affect, right? So less energy in, less energy is going to go out. So that means it's going to lower your resting metabolic rate. That means on average, let's just say you were able to burn through 2,000 calories a day. All right. It might say, well, we're going to lower your resting metabolic rate now to 1,700 calories a day. That means even though you're eating 500 less, you're only getting a 200 calorie net there. So you're not really going to lose that pound a week that you were losing before. It's going to take you a couple weeks to lose that 1 pound, right? And so it's lowering your resting metabolic rate. All that means is the amount of calories burned at rest. That's really it. And then you typically add an activity factor to that, right? So when we used to do, I've got a lot of podcasts on this too, even if you're not like doing a breath-based test to find your resting metabolic rate, for most people, honestly, it's just, okay, how much do you weigh and multiply that by 12. That's for most people, truthfully. It might go up to 15 for certain individuals. Of course, high exercises, athletes, it's going to be higher. And then if someone wants to lose weight, it's often however much you weigh times a multiple of about 10. But we don't want to go too low in calories. So it's like, that's just like basic math. And I don't want you to take that as, like the rule, but that's what you'll find for most individuals. So if you were to say, okay, I weigh 160 pounds, all we have to do is multiply that by 12, and you would get somewhere between 1,900 and 2,000 calories, right? So 160 pound person, a multiple of 12, 1,900 to 2,000 calories, that's about right for most individuals. Now, you would just add on your lifestyle factor. How many extra calories do you burn per day on an average day? the average person might burn another 400 to 500 calories, probably maximum in activity calories. So the 160-pound person can probably eat somewhere around 2,400 calories or so per day to maintain that weight. It really depends on age, gender, metabolism, all sorts of different things that factor into this, but that's just a typical example. And then what we typically do is we have clients eat a certain amount of calories per day, and then we find out, did you gain weight or lose weight? Oh, I stayed the same. Okay, that's basically how many calories you can eat per day to stay at this current weight. And then we'll reduce from there. But we also do know that after a certain period of time, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, there will be a plateau. And that's okay. We already know it's coming, and then we'll be able to change it from there. So just remember, your body isn't trying to sabotage you. It's actually trying to protect you. Less food in, less fuel, less energy out. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But it also actually begins to change some of the hormones in your body. This is what we have to be careful of. That's why keto diets, especially for women, very, very dangerous. How do we know that? We literally test tens of thousands of clients every single year. We test their hormone profile. We use a lab test. It's at stephencabral.com/hormones-test. Anybody can do it right at home. And it's called the stress, mood, and metabolism test. Test all your hormones, your cortisol levels, your thyroid levels, your blood sugar levels, and your vitamin D levels. It's an incredible lab test. And it actually shows when women go on very low carb diets, here's what happens. After about 3 to 4 weeks, their cortisol levels are up and their thyroid levels are down. Estrogen levels typically remain normal or just a little bit elevated. Progesterone levels go down. So now they feel like they have all the symptoms of estrogen dominance, even though estrogen is normal if they were to go to their doctor. It's because progesterone has dropped, especially during the luteal phase. So what does that mean? Well, they're feeling lower mood, lower energy, sometimes bloating, sometimes they get some skin blemishes, sometimes oilier skin or oilier hair, sometimes sleep-based issues, right? So we see all those issues. We're able to fix them because we know the underlying root cause. The underlying root cause is just not to use more progesterone. It's actually to reduce the cortisol levels by improving their macros. Okay, so I digress. But other hormones are affected as well. One of them is leptin. Leptin is very important. It's the satiety hormone. When you lower your calories, especially lowering your carbs, oftentimes leptin levels go down and you feel hungrier. So that's important. Why do you feel hungrier? Well, ghrelin levels go up. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone, right? So leptin says burn more fat, we're satiated. Ghrelin, if it's elevated, says we're hungry, don't burn as much fat, eat more food. So we want to keep those balanced. And I've got a lot of shows on leptin and ghrelin as well. Cortisol is one that I've already spoken about, but we need to be able to not go so low in any of our macros, fat, protein, or carbs, that we don't have increased hunger, right? We don't want to overeat, and we don't have more cravings or more fat storage. So here's what we do. We work with a client. We do something like, let's call it the 21-day functional medicine detox. All of our clients start there. Then they go on to either Medevolve or they go on to our GLP-1 tone system. Either way, in 21 days, they're going to lose anywhere between 7 and 21 pounds. Literally depends on how much weight they have to lose. If they have to lose more than 100 pounds, they're losing 21 pounds in 21 days, right? There's no doubt about that. If they have to lose somewhere between 30 and 50 pounds, they're probably going to lose 10 pounds. If they only need to lose like 10 pounds to 15 pounds, they'll probably lose 7 pounds, right? And so like all of this is very well structured because I've been doing this since the late 90s. And so we have that dialed in. So that's the first 21 days. After that, we are looking to lose 1% per body weight every single week. So 21-day detox, stephencabral.com/detox. You don't need to do that one, but it literally lays out for you the entire detox we do, right? That's 21 days. Just, you can look at it exactly what we do. You don't have to purchase it. So stephencabral.com/detox. Then you're going to choose the Medevolve system, which if you have to lose a lot more body fat, you choose that one. If you're dealing more with hunger and cravings, etc., then you'll choose the natural GLP-1 tone system. Both of those are at stephencabral.com/shop. Again, if you don't want to use Equalife, totally fine with that, but see exactly what they are and what we do, nutrition plan included. Okay, so now our goal is, let's just say you weigh 200 pounds. You got to 200 pounds after the 21-day detox because you weighed maybe 220 pounds. Okay, so now at 200 pounds, we're losing 2 pounds per week. That's the minimum, but that's what we're shooting for. And typically, some weeks are a pound, some weeks are 3, some weeks are 1.5, some are 3, right? So it varies, but on average, we want to lose 8 pounds a month every 4 weeks. And that's what we do. So we never get overly worried about one day's weigh-in. We don't get overly worried, right? Okay, so now we're on track. And let's say after 10 weeks. After 10 weeks, we lose another 20 pounds. You're down to 180 pounds. Amazing. You just went from 220 to 180 in 10 plus 3 weeks, 13 weeks. So basically just a quarter. 13 weeks, that's it, right? 3 months. It only took you 3 months to lose 40 pounds. Amazing. Because you're doing it the healthy and natural way. You're going to be able to keep the weight off. You're not crash dieting. Okay. Because we're doing refeeding meals once a week, all those great things. So now you say, okay, well, at week 13, 10 weeks after the 21-day detox, what happened? Oh, you're only losing a half a pound. And 1 week you lost 1 pound. 1 week you didn't lose any. And your nutrition really wasn't that far off. But again, you're getting a flex meal every week. So what do? All right, at this point, we need to look at, can we reduce calories? If you're at 2,000 calories or so, sure, we can reduce a little bit more. If you're at 1,200 calories, no, we can't reduce any more calories. We actually want to go up a little bit. We'll talk about that in a moment. So what are we going to do? We're going to add in movement. Movement is going to be the key. If we are not doing 3 days a week of resistance training, we're just adding 1 more day. So this is a good point. If you've been doing 0 resistance training, we're adding in 2 days a week. If you've been doing 1 day of resistance training, we're adding 1 more. If you've been doing 2 days of resistance training, we're doing 3. Now, boot camps don't count. They're great, but I don't consider that really strength training. We need you squatting and deadlifting, step ups, lunges, chest presses, shoulder presses, lat pulls, lat rows. We need compound movements, compound presses, compound pulls for the upper and lower body. We don't even need to work on the auxiliary muscles, the secondary and tertiary muscle groups like the biceps and triceps. They are not going to be the drivers of a strong metabolism. Did you know 60% of the muscle in your body is between the top of your iliac crest, which is your hip bone, down to your kneecap? So if you're not working your glutes and your hamstrings and your quads, we need to be. That is going to drive the furnace for metabolism. So that's what we're going to do. Absolutely dial it in. And if you're not at 10,000 steps per day, we don't need to get you there over this next week. If you're at 5,000, I don't need you to go to 10 because I'm going to save it. I need you to go to 7,500. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay. So all I'm doing is like, okay, now we did 1 more day of strength training. If you weren't doing it before, we just, added a little bit, whatever we're doing. And we're going from 5,000 steps a day to 7,500. Amazing. We never want to do more than we have to. Why? Because then in another 8 weeks or so, you lost another, we'll call it now 1.8 pounds or so. Let's just do easy math on that, 12 pounds. You lost another 12 pounds. You're down to, now I'm doing math, 168 pounds. You're doing great, right? So you're there and back down now to either 0 to a half a pound a week. What do? We either decrease calories a little bit, or what we do in our practice, and I'm getting really in the weeds now, we do another 7-day functional medicine detox. We lose another 3 to 5 pounds, jumpstart that body, autophagy, balance inflammation, and we're making sure sleep's dialed in. If we're already doing 3 days a week of strength training, we're going to keep it there. If you're not, we're adding in the 3rd day. Now we're going to take our steps from 7,500 to 10,000. So we're just adding a little bit more. This isn't a crazy workout routine. This is literally what we need to do for longevity anyways. So we're getting there. Now you're back on track. You're using this plan. You get to your goal of 150 pounds, we'll say. Amazing. What do? We maintain it. But there's something else that I do in my practice, which is called reverse dieting. We actually try to add back in more calories, a little bit more healthy carbs, a little bit, which is typically post-workout or in the morning, then a little bit more healthy protein, typically not too much more fat. And now our clients, actually their metabolism begins to even get stronger because more fuel is coming in, which does what? Balances the hormones better. Balances leptin and ghrelin, so fat burning and hunger, balance better. Then what else do? Well, it balances cortisol because we added more carbohydrates in. We're dialing in sleep. We're dialing in cortisol. We're making sure thyroid is optimized. This is the ultimate in how you transform your body. This is literally what Personomics, my new book, is all about. You find out what your body needs, not your friends, and you do what you need to do for you. But you have to start at what's your baseline, what's your foundation. Don't overdo it. We're only looking to add a little bit more because if we do a ton more and you plateau, what more can we do? You've already done a ton. What we have to do at that point is literally rebalance from the beginning. We need to do the refeeding then. And unfortunately, you're going to probably gain a little bit of weight, but we rebuild your metabolism the right way, right? We rebalance your hormones. Ultimately, you need to do that. So if you're doing it the way that I'm sharing with you right now, you can just add a little bit every essentially 10 to 12 weeks is what we see in our practice. And then you get ultimately the results you're looking for. And not only do you achieve your goal, it becomes easier over time because now you're doing a reverse diet, you're refeeding, and now your body is even more nourished to a greater degree with more vitamins, more minerals, more omegas, more amino acids, and your body's then actually very happy. So mood gets boosted, hormones improve all across the board, and of course, sleep comes along with that. So this is the strategic way of how to continue to lose the weight even when you plateau. And it also explains to you science-based why dieting stops working for everybody at some point. So hopefully this was helpful. Please do share this show with everyone you believe it could serve, because this is the healthy way to get back to your goal weight, whether it's for this summer or a special event, or ideally just for life. Because when you get to a healthy weight, it does more for your longevity than almost anything. So thank you so much for tuning into the show. I can't link up a lot of these things, but you'll find them all at stephencabral.com/shop. That's just our functional medicine practice, our integrative health practice. Equal Life, we help people in 27 countries around the world. We've helped over 300,000 clients. We've run over 250,000 at-home lab tests. Everything's at stephencabral.com/shop. But also just leave a comment. Any way that we can help, we are here to help. Go to cabralsupportgroup.com. That's all free support. Ask if you're missing a podcast. If you need help in any way, we're there for you. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. I'll talk with you soon.